There will always be problems in your life. Don't stress, don't panic, just flow with it. That's another quote from Dan Coe. Now, I'm listening to him a lot at the moment, hence why I'm quoting him a lot. Eventually, I'll probably stop doing that. But he's a writer who I really resonate with. So, and when I'm out and about and I'm listening to podcasts and audiobooks or whatever, anytime I hear a line that gives me a sense of aha, I try to make a note of it in my phone, and then I sort of go back to it when I'm making these videos. If I find a new thought helpful, I want to add it to the thoughts that I am thinking, every day, because apparently we think 60,000 thoughts every day. So it's fairly important to be mindful about the thoughts we are having and try to make them empowering rather than disempowering thoughts. So anyway, the quote is, there will always be problems in life. Don't stress, don't panic, just flow with it. Now, this quote seems very obvious at first, so it's one of those quotes that's easy to dismiss and just sort of go, oh yeah, I know that anyway, problems, yeah, whatever. But the reason why I wrote it down was because I'm in my 40s now, and even though I'm pretty happy, I do still spend a lot of time being sort of mildly annoyed by every little problem that happens. You're just sort of going through the day and you're almost like, I bet something's going to happen, and then something does happen, like at work, or it's like, there's someone who's coming around today to check on my flat, and then, I say I might miss a phone call, and then tomorrow I've got to book something at work to get time off work in order so that I can do a gig somewhere else, and then that gig might get cancelled. It's just it's like the problems are just endless, and if you have kids, then I feel for you, because I can't imagine the amount of problems that must bring up, because it's problems outside of your own control. So, but anyway, so yeah, once I solve a problem, another one pops up, and then there is this constant fear that something will happen in the future to cause more problems, say like getting more responsibility, like having kids, or getting like some kind of better job or something like that, where you have more responsibility. And I feel like this wanting to get rid of problems mentality has actually created a success barrier in my life, because unconsciously I actually don't want to have more success, because more responsibility is only going to create more problems. So I can see how that has kept me at a certain level in my life. I sort of got to the point where I'm like, I don't want to live like this anymore. It's not satisfying. So instead of viewing problems with sort of feelings of dread, I would instead like to begin viewing problems as just being an integral part of life. Humans are problem-solving machines. Our brains are wired to solve problems, to make our lives better and the lives of others better. When I observe the happiest, most successful people, I observe that they are mostly spending their time solving high-level problems for others. And when I observe the unhappiest people, they seem to have given up on solving problems and are just trying to minimize effort. And I observe this in myself too. But at the end of the day, we still need to make money. We still need to get food. We still need a place to sleep. Unless you're going to kill yourself, you got to sort of make a commitment to sort of, I'm going to go to the end of my life, and there's always going to be problems. That is just part of it. And I still desire relationships. I still have dreams. I still have wants and desires. There really is no getting away from that. And this is not to say that getting to a specific goal is going to complete me or make me happy. And I think that's partly the reason why I went through a period of apathy at the end of my 30s because I had gone after these things that I wanted, say, in my dating life or in my music life, and then I had kind of got them, and then it was like, oh, well, nobody really cares, and I kind of feel the same, and then I kind of went into this apathy because I was like, well, what's the point of chasing these things when it's like they're not going to complete me, and I can be happy without them, and what's the point of chasing status? I think that was a big part of it too. It's like almost looking at, you see everyone on social media chasing status, and people in life chasing status, like getting, say, more expensive cars or bigger houses, and you think that's pathetic, those people chasing status. They're just doing things to impress other people. Pathetic. So therefore, I'm not going to try and chase status. But I think I think you can't really avoid chasing status, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to want to, because you just, as I'm saying, like, as a human, you're wired to chase goals, chase status, and you can kind of tell yourself that you don't want it. But it's kind of like telling yourself that you don't want love, or you don't want food, or you don't want these things. It's like you're just wired. You're wired to want these things. You know, even if you say just spend all day meditating, that is you're kind of playing some kind of a status game there, in a way, because then at the end of it, you can be like, oh, I'm the highest status person because I'm the most spiritual person, sort of thing. So if you try to, I observe in myself, but I also think if you try to avoid chasing these things like status or these chasing goals, if you just try and avoid it and say, I'm not going to play that game anymore, what I have observed in my life is that I just get into a state of apathy. And I've been in this state a lot over the past few years. It was really bad in 2017 and 2018. And I was just basically every day I was like wasting time. I was getting up and just distracting myself with the internet, and then sort of using alcohol and drugs to sort of numb myself, really. And then I eventually ran out of money, and I had to move back in with my parents for a bit. And I've sort of slowly over the last few years tried to get a bit sort of back into engaging with life, and I've gotten happier as I've done that. Really, I think you need to engage with life. So, because this is the thing, even like, say when you're like you're in a state of apathy and you're just spending all day on the internet and like smoking weed, drinking, whatever, using porn or whatever, what you're doing is chasing cheap dopamine. And the cheap dopamine related activities are themselves tapping into the problem solving dopamine mechanism in the brain. So you're still kind of chasing goals, but in this kind of, you're sort of chasing that feeling of dopamine that you would normally get naturally from having like sort of healthy goals. So I'm slowly starting to accept that life is basically all about solving problems, and that is a good thing. I am a solving problem machine. You are a solving problem machine. Instead of getting cheap dopamine in all the various ways that the modern life offers, we can set goals that are authentic to us. We're always going to all have different goals. And that's why I think, when you see people just trying, who like get bigger cars to impress other people, or like bigger houses to impress other people, if that's authentic to them, then there's nothing wrong with that, because they might actually really like cars. They might really like the nice house, or they might really like spending a lot of money, say, going to see their football team. So, whatever it is, I think as long as the goal you're chasing is authentic to you, I don't think there's anything wrong with chasing that, if you're doing it for yourself. About a month ago, I made a music video, which had it was like a really well made music video that I'd made with someone else, and that had been a big goal of mine for a while, but I just hadn't done it. Hadn't got around to doing it. It was kind of seemed too complicated. It was kind of expensive, and maybe part of me was thinking, oh, I mean, like maybe making a music video is a bit egotistical or something. Or maybe I don't. Why should I need to make a music video? Like people want to hear the music, they can hear it. They don't need a good music video. I can just save money by not making a music video. But after I made it, for the 2 weeks following making the music video, I didn't feel the need to drink alcohol or smoke weed because I felt great. I felt like it wasn't like a case of I need to use willpower to not drink. I just felt naturally good, and I think that was the sort of good dopamine that was naturally flowing through my brain, because my brain knew that I had this goal of making a music video, and then I'd put it off, and then when I eventually got it done, my brain rewarded me with this feeling of just feeling naturally great. And it's kind of worn off now a little bit, because nothing obviously is going to last forever, but it's just got me thinking that it's like, until the day I die, I'm going to have to be chasing goals, chasing status in a way. And that's just sort of part of life. It's unavoidable, and it actually takes a lot of stress knowing that, because it's like, it is only in being in resistance to the sort of problems in my life that I find that actually creates that stressful feeling, because it's like, you know when like some problem comes up and you're like, oh no, another problem, and it's just a horrible way to live, isn't it? Because there's obviously going to be something that is going to be coming, especially with all the stuff that's going on in the world, with lockdowns and the stuff that's happened over the past few years. There's part of me that went into a state of apathy, because it's like, oh well, the world's fucked, and like something's going to happen soon which is going to take away our freedom, and probably they're going to take down the internet, so what's the point of even building a YouTube channel? And it's like, you're just sort of projecting all these imaginary future problems which could happen, but it's like, what is the alternative? The alternative to just sort of chasing goals that are authentic to you is just to be in a state of apathy and just sort of try and numb yourself. Numb myself, and I've done a lot of that. So if you're watching this video and you're doing that, then no judgment from me, because the amount of time that I've wasted just sort of numbing myself, it causes me a lot of pain, and I've sort of recently I've just sort of thought I've got to let go of that, and also got to sort of let go of the sort of learned helplessness, and because part of me is also saying, oh, I've wasted so much time, it's over for me now anyway. I've got to let go of that. I mean, it's just letting go of the past, letting go of old ways of thinking for me. And I am starting to do that recently, and I'm feeling a lot better. And this doesn't mean that I can't occasionally, say, binge watch some movies, or even, use alcohol or smoke weed occasionally, but let's be honest, like, that is rest time. That is like something that you do so that then you can get back to solving more problems the next day. I've never seen myself just do that kind of behaviour and actually really deep down be happy. I don't think you can do that. I've never seen people like really, really, truly be happy just living that kind of a lifestyle. So, once again, the quote was, "There will always be problems in your life. Don't stress, don't panic, just flow with it." Alright, that's the end of the video. Cheers.